Hello my brothers and sisters on the Dragon's Path. My name is Tim Heijen and I believe in dragons. And let me tell you something more about the Dragon's Path. In this case about water. What is water? I always considered it as dragon's blood. Something that you can also bless someone with. But where does it come from, of course? Because of my own dragon goddess Tiamat, but also from the other dragon gods, for example Leviathan and Pangu, has a large saying in this. The reason for that is because, it's actually stories. I want to tell you a story, and this story was about Tiamat and Pangu. Tiamat was placed on the earth in two pieces, betrayed and lost in a war between other dragon gods. And so she sank into the earth, and her blood became the waters and the rivers that you see before you. Pangu came onto the earth and saw the chaos and needed to create order. So he created the mountains and shaped this earth as it is. And so he, after so many millennia that he created this earth more and more, he became tired of it and he was very old. So he laid himself down and so sank into the earth. But his blood remained on this earth, connecting with those of Tiamat, becoming the waters of this earth. But a lot of people say that Tiamat and Pangu are still the dragons of water, and that is very correct because it's still their energy that is flowing through. Their blood is still the veins of this forest, feeding every single tree that it passes to. But there was one problem: waters are not protected anymore. The waters are unguided, unprotected. So actually, when humans came, that was very, very much problem. For the dragon gods, because Quetzalcoatl could not do it, because he had to guard the air of it. And as well as Fafnir didn't even become a dragon god at that point. So it was actually up to the strongest of them all, Leviathan, who was already a dragon god of the void and also of the gates. He was a traveler. He had already a job, but he had one more job to do, and that was guarding over the dragon's blood on the earth. Because humans were already there. Humans were already destroying it, so he had to be. And that is why Leviathan is being considered as one of the dragon gods, that is a demon or a devil, because he was the feared dragon of the waters. He transformed himself as a sea serpent to be the guidance of the waters, because Tiamat and Pangu they were in trouble because they sank into the earth and they had a lot of control of the forest and things like that, but they didn't control the waters. So Leviathan, as the angel as he is, he transformed himself into a sea serpent. And of course, every time when they wanted to destroy or do something bad, that's just the same with Tiamat and Pangu. If you try to do something bad to the forest, then they will have their energy against you. That is just the same if you want to do the same with the waters at the dragon's blood. If you want to do harm, then Leviathan has to step in as a giant, enormous, big sea serpent. A serpent with large horns and so frightening that everyone is afraid of Leviathan, that he even became, in Christianity, one of the kings of hell. That is of course later on made out of him, because they were so afraid of him. And of course what they don't understand is being feared. But what he wanted to do, why he became the elemental dragon of water, is because he wanted to protect dragon's blood. I mean, water for everyone is needed for everyone. We are made out of it. Our blood is made out of dragon's blood, as well as our spirit is. Our spirit is also the dragon spirit. It's just all connected with each other. Well, without water we would die, but humans just sometimes don't understand that Leviathan was just simply there to protect it. And so Leviathan also became one with water, with dragon's blood. In these religions now, for example, they always use water to have this blessing of their god. But why, if they don't even respect water? So but it's actually from an ancient story from having the blessing over water, that they are, for example, have this baptism inside of water and then you are cleared of. I mean, if they are afraid of Leviathan, if they are afraid of the dragon god of the waters that wanted to be protected, if they think that he is a devil, then why bless your child with water, with dragon's blood? Because they don't know it's dragon's blood. Because they don't know about Tiamat or Leviathan or Pangu. And that is actually a very interesting, not really interesting, this is actually very confusing. To know who your dragon god is. If you are attracted to water, it doesn't mean that automatically that Leviathan is the one that is waking you up. It might as well be Tiamat or Pangu that can be your dragon god. Very much even. Because the dragons, waters still have a large connection with the dragons of the earth. And Tiamat is very female, very chaos. Not that dark, but she loves her children very much, and that is the only thing actually what they can be compared to each other. The dragons of the earth, that they can be compared as they love their children. They love their children, and they have a lot of children. They made a lot of children. Tiamat is even the goddess of fertility, which means if you want to have a child, then this is the dragon god you have to ask a little bit of energy to. If you want to have a child very, very much, then Tiamat is the one that you should ask for a little bit of help. How does it go? You can have, of course, if you have a connection with Tiamat, the dragon goddess of the earth, then, for example, for myself, I can do some rituals for that, for using the dragon's eye, and this is actually very complex, but yeah, that is for another time. The dragon goddess of fertility, but also the dragon goddess of water and earth. But she doesn't have anything to say about water. That is only one, and that is just Leviathan. And that is where it comes from, the stories. And the stories, actually, my brothers and sisters, they have a lot of stories, a lot of ancient stories. That is actually something that they asked me when I was before an interview on the radio. And they told me, but there is no history about the dragon. Nothing can be told about the dragon. There is no story about the dragon. Can you tell me something about this? And I actually laughed. And I said, no story. There is so many stories. But it's all lost in time because it was forbidden to talk about the dragon or with these religions. Because the dragon was a religion before. And they were not allowed to speak about this and demonize the dragon. But their story was even told in the beginning of humanity. They were also already worshipped and being adored by humans in the dawn of humanity. And that is where these stories that I'm telling you now are coming from the beginning of humanity. And second of all, even if it doesn't have a history, why can't history start from here? Why does it have to be so ancient? If it has to be ancient, then of course your Christianity is also false, because it used to be dinosaurs in the beginning of time. What were their gods? And if I had a chance to say, who is the dragon? Who is the dinosaur god? Who did they worship? Another dinosaur? I mean, you are worshipping a human with a human face, so it might be that they have a dinosaur somewhere in the sky. That is why my God and Goddess, that is why I believe that they don't have a human face like you are believing. We are not superior as a human being. That is why I when I felt the dragon for the first time, I immediately recognized a goddess. So yeah, oh my goodness, it's getting cold. I don't believe that this river doesn't freeze up. I mean, it's so cold. But it's very, very beautiful, actually. I like to look at it. It's getting high. It's getting wet all over there. And that is still feeding the trees, still feeding Tiamat and still feeding Pangu. Whenever every tree is connecting to each other. All of them connecting with every lightning bolt to each other. And the trees are talking to each other from the bottom as well. And so Leviathan still feeding the true dragon gods of the earth. The dragon gods of the earth can have so much connection with the earth as well. Whenever someone is doing something wrong in the earth, then they will step in. But whenever someone is doing wrong to the waters, then Leviathan will step in. So, if you're not sure who your dragon god is, if you are highly connected with the waters, just remember that you have time. A lot of time to discover who your dragon god and goddess or goddess is. There are so many. If you are connected to the waters, don't come to conclusions too fast. Just rely on your instincts and feelings. And it will tell you who your dragon god is. And they will eventually come to you. They are strong enough, whenever time is right, that Leviathan, Tiamat, or Pango, or maybe the other dragon gods like Fafnir, Quetzalcoatl, they can all come to you. If you are their child, that is something they all have in common with each other. That is the one thing, and that they love their children. That this is their goal, that we are their goal, and they will never leave us alone. And so that is why I also see Tiamat inside of the waters. I love the waters, I love the rivers. I can still see her living in it. And that is why you can also be blessed by the dragons with the waters. My brothers and sisters, be blessed.